down to El Salvador. So be careful with that rhetoric because it can backfire on you like fucking that. Have I ever heard the term autogynephilia? Yes, I'm familiar with the idea that there are trans women who are like, who fetishize the idea. Are like, who fetishize the idea that if it happens is such a fucking rare occurrence so as to be ridiculous. If you knew how low my sex is, you would understand why it's such an absurd fucking thing to accuse me of autogynephilia. If you place the sun behind the camera, yeah, but then if I place the sun behind the camera, there's this like junk pile of stuff that we have to like go through and scrap and throw away what can't be scrapped and shit, and it's just not, it's not photogenic at all. So I don't know what I have considered doing. What I what I think about doing sometimes is maybe setting up an alternative shooting area somewhere on the farm where I can have a nice background, but also not have the sun shining towards the camera. Because you're right, right now the camera's kind of picking up some of that sunlight. Although I wonder if we move it like this. If we move it like that, does that assist at all? We'll see. We'll see if that makes things better or just leaves them more or less the same. Worried about being photogenic? Yeah. I mean, I'm considered pretty attractive by a lot of the people I know, so I try to make a good picture, yeah. I try to present a presentable face. I don't always succeed because I'm not that great a photographer, but what are you going to do? Hey, you know, you can be hot and a great cook and loving and empathetic and a good talker, but you can't win them all. Like, I play guitar and I cook and I uh, have like a high level of emotional intelligence and good rhetorical and oratory skills. Like, do you really expect me to also be like an amazing photographer? I mean, come on, I'm not Quentin Tarantino. I'm just Phoebes. How many genders do you believe there to be? And if it's more than two, is there any scientific to factual evidence that supports the claims? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just curious. Gender is a complicated thing, right? Because when it comes to sex, there are basically, I mean, even sex is kind of a spectrum if you really think about it, but it's a spectrum with two very clearly defined ends, right? At the extreme end of one side, you've got penis and balls, and at the extreme end of the other side, you've got a vagina, uterus, and ovaries, right? And all the secondary sexual characteristics that come with both of those. In between, obviously, you've got all kinds of intersex conditions and things like that. But when it comes to gender, it's a way wider spectrum, and I don't know if it can be fairly represented by two axes. I don't know if, like, or I'm sorry, by one axis. I don't know if that makes sense to properly describe gender, if we're being completely honest. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. Polar hole. Just give me some hardware. Do you have a cat or dog? Yeah, we have multiple cats and multiple dogs, actually. One of the cats was just hanging out around here. We let him out in the daytime so he can prowl around and get mice and rats and things like that. But he just stays here in the yard. I don't know where he's fucking off to right now. How many chins do you have? Just the two. By the way, you're really pretty. Thank you. I appreciate it. All the shit you just talked about, what's your name? I can't even read that name. Artsy Fartsy Studios or whatever. All that shit you just talked about are sex characteristics. But gender is not sex. Gender is, how did I define it the other day? Gender are the behaviors we associate with what we assume to be someone's sex based on the behaviors that they're expressing. So, gender is a compilation of ideas. Gender is a framework, it's not some rigid scientific idea. And that's proven just by looking through American history and seeing how much gender has changed over the last 200 years. How do you know the cat's a boy? Because we have no reason to believe that cats have any concept of gender whatsoever, nor that they can understand English. So, me gendering my cat has no effect on his psychology. So, for him, it doesn't matter. I can misgender my cat all day long. I know that my cat's a male. I know that, well, that particular cat is a male. And I know that in English, typically, a male is assumed to be a boy, and therefore, I feel pretty comfortable saying, cute boy or whatever to my cat because even if cats can be trans, even if cats do have a deep and complex sense and idea of gender, um, he can't understand English, so it doesn't matter. Whereas with a human getting misgendered constantly can have profound effects on their psychology. What are with these comments? People people love to hate me, but really they just love to love me. That's the truth of it, dude. Chasers. That's what you're looking for. That's the word you're looking for. That's the phenomenon you're looking for. People who are deeply attracted to trans people, and there's two kinds of chasers. There are chasers who cannot help but be attracted to trans people despite also finding us disgusting for all the reasons I've mentioned before with social conditioning and all that kind of thing. But the other problem is that at the same time, like, despite all that social conditioning, they're still attracted to us. They cannot help but be attracted to us. And so that comes out in the form of anger and vitriol and hatred. It's also the fact that many of them wish that they could express themselves the way I do, and the fact that they can't makes them feel bad about themselves and all that. So there's a lot of psychology going into it. But then you've got the chasers that are just open about it, that are like, I like trans women. I think they're hot. I want to date one, which I'm cool with those folks. Hey, everybody's got their preference. You know, I am personally put off a little bit by a chaser because it just feels like it ultimately doesn't feel all that different from someone who just wants me for my body from any other direction, you know? So they're kind of off putting personally in a way because it's just like fetishization of what to me is a pretty small part of my identity that I don't fetishize. So it can be a little off putting, but it's not off putting in the same way that transphobia is or someone projecting because they're not able to express themselves is. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. I really do appreciate it, and it really does help the channel. And I read every single super chat, even ones that are hateful. I'll probably just say fuck you at the end if you're hateful, though. What do you think of Trump? I think I've already talked about this. I think that Trump is perhaps a mixed bag. I think he's way too old for the fucking position. I think Trump's about 20 years older than we need a president to be, with how much things have changed, with how much technology we've all adopted, with how different the world is now from what it was 20 years ago. I don't know why we have a president from 20 years ago. You know, like, I don't know why we don't have a president that's 20 years younger than what Trump is. I think he's way too old for office. By the time he gets out of office, he will have been the oldest president to ever serve, just like Biden was. So I don't think it's a good thing that we keep on breaking that barrier. I'm personally not a big fan of grandpa running the country, but for some reason it's okay when Trump does it. It's horrible and shitty and bad when Biden does it, and I agree, it was shitty and horrible and bad. I just wish the same people that were making all these dementia claims about Biden, which they were right. Here's what bothers me, right? I agree. When people say that that Biden was demented, that he shouldn't have been allowed to be in office, that he should have been ousted, etc., I agree with them. My problem is that they don't extrapolate that to Trump. And so it's not genuine. It's not good faith. They don't really believe that. Like, they don't believe that. They don't care. It's not about him being too old for them. It's about him being blue. It's about the fact that he's a Democrat and they're Republicans, and it's a football game for these people. That's all. That's all. And the rhetoric just exists to cover that up. The rhetoric literally just exists to, yeah, like, do you guys realize that like a giant chunk of political rhetoric happening in America is the equivalent of a pass in football? You realize that they're the equivalent? It's just a way of advancing one team's agenda or another. Like, when it comes to the electoral politics, poisoned fucking Democrat versus Republican system, that's all you get. You don't ever hear the type of real shit you're getting out of me for the last 2 hours or for the last 45 minutes. You don't ever hear that type of real shit coming out of just regular, politicians and shit. What do you think about Kamala Harris? I think Kamala Harris was a cop. I think Kamala Harris is unpopular even within her own fucking home district. I think that Kamala Harris was probably zanned out for most of her campaign, and I think she managed to utterly waste, the highest amount of campaign contributions ever given to a candidate. She got more money for her fucking campaign than Trump did, and she did way less with it. Way less. She wasn't putting out nearly enough ads, and the ads she was putting out sucked, bro. And ultimately, I think this is something I heard TJ Kirk, aka Into the Fray now, talking about a few weeks ago, maybe not a few weeks ago, a few months ago. The reason Kamala Harris lost is because she had no fucking vision. She had no vision for this country. And the reason Trump won is because he had a vision. Was it dark and apocalyptic to most of us? Yeah. About 2/3 of the country wasn't down for Trump's vision, as evidenced by the 35% of people who didn't vote and the roughly 32.5% of people who voted against him. So most of America wasn't down for the Trump vision. But you know what? There was a third that could be convinced, a little over a third that could be convinced. And so that 33% managed to win out over the 32%, and thus we ended up with Trump. But I don't think we were going down a good path no matter what president we got. The fact of it is, shit was bad under the Biden presidency. Deportation continued under the Biden presidency. Bad trade policies that favor American billionaires but fuck over American workers were standard all throughout the Biden presidency. Wage stagnation, standard all throughout the Biden presidency. Biden did nothing to expand healthcare or to introduce some kind of universal healthcare system. He did fucking nothing, period. Most of the shit that Biden did happened within like the first month of him being in office, and then for the rest of the time he was hidden away from us like some kind of dark mummy in a hidden sarcophagus. Happy birthday. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. The only thing I don't do in your weird fucking chicken soup for the soul, I'm going to tell you how to live fucking rant, the only thing I don't do in that is go to the gym. And as for going to the gym, how about you send me some super chats and I will have enough money to go to the gym. You want to send me to the gym? Super chat. That's the best way. Is there a way for you to refresh the stream for connection purposes, or do you think it's just my connection causing desync? It might be your connection, but I will try one thing real quick. All right, let's see what we're doing. We got cut off. Yeah, you're fine. Can you rate me out of 5? How would I stop you? I mean, I guess I could ban you, but I'm not going to ban you just for that. You have enough money to buy women's clothes. You can afford to take a jog. I've had this shirt for 5 years. I've had these shorts for 5 years. So actually, no, I don't have enough money to buy new clothes. I've been wearing the same wardrobe with effectively, like, actually, the most additions I've done to my wardrobe in like 2 or 3 years happened the other day. My mom picked some stuff up for me while she was out at a Goodwill or something, and called to let me know about it, and I was able to get some new clothes from a Goodwill because she happened to be in there. Saw some stuff that she thought I would like, so there you go. Are you employment? No, I myself am not employment. I'm a human being. Oh man, V Extinction. I wish you'd met my Aunt Candy. I really wish you could meet my Aunt Candy. My Aunt Candy belches way louder than I do, and she is a successful hairdresser with a giant set of fake tits. So, about as feminine as you can be. And she belches way louder than I can. Man, people love to talk about First Amendment this, First Amendment that, but then they want to get you censored. Can we just talk about something? Why is the right wing cool with censorship when it comes to left wing positions and creators, but they cry and whine about censorship whenever it's a right wing creator? You don't need fakes? What do you mean, Casey? What happened, Casey? What's up, Kate? What's up, Casey? Who the fuck talking about censorship? That dumbass I just banned who was like, report them for smoking, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck you, dumb bitch. Report yourself, faggot. Double standards exist for everyone. Yeah, I wish people would just be honest about it. I just wish people would say, I support censorship when it comes to left wing positions and am against censorship when it's a right wing position. I just wish people would say that because it would make the position a lot more clear and absurd. But instead, they'll whine about censorship all day long when it's their creators and their positions that they see as being, reacted negatively against. But when it's someone like me, they're all perfectly fine with it. They're perfectly fucking fine with it. When it's one of their political enemies, they don't give a shit about censorship because it's just football politics to them. It's just about getting one over on another person. And the rhetoric is just a pretty way to sell it to other people. But yeah, Casey, what happened? What were you talking about fakes? Just glad to see you. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't answered your messages, by the way. I have been incredibly fucking depressed. I have been incredibly depressed, and some of the highest energy that I'm able to muster up and summon has been on these streams. And then for the rest of the day, it's just like been bare motivation shit. It's like um, I've been doing the dishes a lot and doing a lot of house chores just to keep myself moving and motivated because I know if I stay sitting for too long, I'll just like get lost reading Wikipedia or scrolling through YouTube. And I hate when I'm like this, but I am just unable to respond to DMs when I'm like this because I just make everything about me and I just want to whine about my problems, and it's not good. It's not good. That's why I like doing these streams, perhaps even more when I'm feeling kind of down because honestly, it helps me kind of get some of that passion going a little bit. It helps reinvigorate. Like it's a great way to tickle the brain, if that makes sense. So there's sometimes when I have energy for these, but it's not so much that I have energy for these as it is me knowing that if I do one, it'll help me have more energy and I'll be a little more able. I do feel like I'm feeling better today than I have in the last few days, so I will try to get back to you today, Casey. Maybe you should get a job. Maybe you should get a life. Maybe you should help me turn this into a job by sending a super chat or joining up the membership. And anyone else who wants to support the channel and the wonderful work we're doing here in the form of proffering a discourse that anyone can participate in, if you like that message, if you like that idea, if you like this platform, go ahead and send a super chat or sign up for the membership. Or if you don't have any money, if like me, you are broke as a motherfucker, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help. It helps send this stream to more people's algorithms. It helps get more people in here, and it helps get more people chatting, and all of that does nothing but help the channel. So if you like this shit, please do that. Thank you. I figured the 5-minute wait would be worth the laughs. Well, I hope it was. Do bigoted people bother you? If not, how do you ignore them? I just ignore them. I address them here on the internet. I don't really encounter that many bigots out and about. I'm sure I run into them, but none of them have the balls to say anything about it, so it doesn't matter. I've never been accosted in public for being trans. I have had people be transphobic after having an interaction with me that went negatively, but at that point, they're just using it as a cudgel. There's a good chance they don't even feel that way if you caught them on a good day. But when it comes to just like I'm walking along and somebody yells some kind of mean thing, that has never happened to me as a trans person. It actually happened to me way more as a bisexual living in my little small town. So maybe if I went back there and lived for a while, I would be accosted. But I lived there for the first year of my transition, and like I said, I have never been accosted in public for being trans out of nowhere. It just hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will. It just hasn't happened yet. Hold on. I think my cat tried to get one of the guineas. The last guinea we had. Yeah, I know. They're bad about turning their stuff over.
Where's he at?
Right here. Right where I'm standing. But I think maybe she just started setting them. You okay? But anyway, just let it know. I do think we're down to one guinea, but I think that she just started setting 2 or 3 days ago. Because I didn't see her much at all yesterday. I can't really remember seeing her much the day before.
Are you still doing your thing?
Yeah, it's still on it. Somebody was asking me astrology questions yesterday, by the way.
Asking you what, astrology?
Yeah.
What they asked?
One of my regulars. They were asking if I relate to my zodiac sign at all. And I was like, I guess so. I told them, like, yeah, I do. But I also said, I feel like a lot of zodiac signs are kind of, the way they're written makes them. I just reset them. I'm going to have to. Well, I think and honestly, what I'll also do is I'll probably like cut pizza box there, take 1/2 foot off and put that on it. So, right. So that way, as they're pecking it out, because a lot of people see how much it's pecked out. But as they peck it out. We're going to use that for the dish tray. But that's why I think pizza box would work just as well. Yeah. But I went ahead and refilled that because they were crowding the front when I came up, Okay, guys.
Yeah, excuse me. What are you doing, you nosy bastard? Shit, say being nosy. Here you go.
I know. He asked Dad if it's okay if we just let him hang out in free range, because.
Yeah, let's hope he don't, or maybe he'll find some, well, no, we don't mind killing snakes. Don't kill no snakes.
Just rats and mice, yeah.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Okay, it's a double-edged sword, though, right? It's Milo, right? It's a double-edged sword. But really, the answer is just putting top as much as you can. And also, that steel gets through 90% of the shit. It's just a matter of it drawing up long enough. Now that I'm not working with my computer. Until I find another job, take that steel off and start working with some of this stuff. And this stuff, obviously.
Did you ever put in that space at Bullhorn?
What was it?
Bullhorn?
Bullhorn? No, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's it.
Where is that at again?
It's somewhere in Alaska.
Oh, okay. Dude, did you know that there was supposed to be a fucking meat plant in Alaska? The Yellow Creek nuclear plant. It was supposed to be EPA administered, but it lost funding when it was 75% done. Right. And NASA, for a while, considered it as a location to build solid rocket motors, but then they stepped out, and like 2 other companies have tried to use the site since then. It's just been marred by kind of funding problems. you're fine. Okay. What? Okay. Anyway, that was an adventure. What the fuck are you guys arguing about? What are you guys arguing about again? How's HRT if you've started yet? I was on HRT for a brief time in 2020, and I have not been able to get back on it since that time, but I liked it quite a bit while I was on it. I felt more myself when I was on it than I have without it, so I do hope to eventually be able to start taking it again, but we'll see. I waited over 10 minutes just to tell you that you look like Peter Griffin. I'm proud of myself. Man, that is a level of no-lifing to which I can only aspire, bro. But yeah, one of our guineas has an active nest, and the cat that was free roaming decided to jump towards it and shit. Scared it off the nest for a minute. Now the guinea's back on the nest, so all's well. But I put the cat up, so I had to put the cat up, and then I wanted to ask the other people in the household if the other guineas we had, because we raised guineas when I was a kid, but I never could get down the distinction between guinea hen and guinea cock. You know, like guinea hens and guinea cocks to me look exactly alike. Like I cannot tell the difference between them. So I had to ask and make sure that we actually had some male guineas at one point, because I thought maybe we didn't, and if we didn't have any male guineas, then there's not much point in our guineas sitting some eggs, you know? I'm always around here. I'm like a damn clock. Might as well get a gold medal the way I make the haters stop. Oh, that's good. I don't know if you meant to make that rhyme, but that was good. That was good. Dude, the Phoebes rap. The chat rap, bro. You need to write the chat rap, Casey. How many guinea pigs do you have currently? Oh, no. When I say guineas, I mean guinea fowl. So, well, we have guinea pigs too. We have 2 guinea pigs, but I meant guinea fowl in that context. Guinea fowl are an African relative of the pheasant. They are part of the, I believe they're part of the pheasant family, which is part of the order Galliformes. So chicken relatives, basically. And they're strange, right? So guineas can fly, not as well as quail, but better than chickens by a long shot. They can't fly like long sustained distances as far as I know, but they can fly like from the ground to a high treetop. Oh shit, I didn't know it was bars till I sent it. Well, there you go. You're a poet even when you don't know it. I'm so sorry. Don't be. It's fine. It really is. It's no big deal. Oh, someone sent a 99-cent super chat while I was gone, and I didn't even see it. Peyton Schneider, thank you so much for the 99 cents. I appreciate it a lot. And I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. If anybody else wants to send a super chat, I do read every single one. I also have memberships open, and I give members a wider view into my personal life than I give in my everyday life, I should say, than I give most of the public audience. So if you want to see the types of stuff that I'm whipping up when I'm cooking, or like pictures from around the farm, pictures in progress, that kind of thing, that's a great way to do it. Also, the members are about to start receiving early access to videos, because I'm going to start making long form content again. Well, I already make long form content, but I'm going to start making long form pre recorded content again, because I think it's going to be fun. I've got some ideas in my head that I want to talk about. And I want to put them to paper and then put them to video. So we will see how that goes. But please consider signing up for any of those if you are interested in helping the channel grow, or if you're just interested in supporting my efforts here as a person trying to bring something like a conversation to the broader internet. Let's see here. What were we talking about before that happened anyway? I heard Trump getting semi-supported, so I'm here for that, I guess. What the hell? He's demanding peace. Have you seen the ballistics lately? That's what Peyton Schneider said earlier. So, yeah, when it comes to Trump and this peace shit, like, I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm of the opinion that if we are going to engage in armed conflict with Russia, it's time we stop tippy-toeing around the issue. It's time we draw a fucking line in the sand and say, enough of the fucking brinksmanship, enough of the fucking talk, enough of the chatter between our two countries. Here is the line. You will stop attacking Ukraine, or Moscow will be wiped off the face of the planet. Period. Full stop. You might escalate that conflict. You might manage to destroy a few of our cities along the way, but we are going to wipe you and your capital city and the center of your culture off the face of the planet, and you will not defy us again. We are one of the only countries on the planet that can say that and have it be backed up. So I think if we're going to engage in armed conflict, I'm sick to death of people dying by the fucking truckload because our leaders are too pussy to actually put their fucking money where their mouths are. And since this culture is just dead set on violence when it comes to this issue, since we apparently are completely unwilling to engage in diplomacy, that to me is a better option than letting millions of people like me and younger to die in trenches endlessly and forever in pursuit of some unwinnable war from the way it's being fought. And if we're not going to escalate to a nuclear level or an intercontinental ballistic level, then like at least just get American troops on the ground en masse and say we are going to not only support the Ukrainian people in whatever way is needed to get them to end the occupation, but we are actually going to take back Crimea, and then we're going to start invading Russian territory, and we're going to establish a 25-mile buffer zone where no Russian military equipment is allowed, and where we have American military bases every 60 miles. And I genuinely think that about 6 months into that, if it got that long, if it even went on that long, I think it would be like 6 weeks. I think about 6 weeks into that, Russia would be coming to the table with some real conciliatory offers. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to be decisive in this conflict. And you know why we don't want to be decisive in the Russo-Ukrainian war? It's because the fucking military-industrial complex doesn't benefit from that. It's the same reason they don't want to cure cancer. It's the same reason they want to cure cancer. It's because there's a fucking profit motive tied to it. So, is it more profitable to spend a couple of, maybe a couple of million, maybe 5 or 10 million? Is it more profitable for the military industrial complex for the American government to spend between 15 and 20 million on a 4-month long conflict, or to spend billions over the course of a 4-year long conflict? Well, obviously, the profitable choice for the military industrial complex is going to be the latter. And that's why this conflict drags on forever, because it's a great way for them to enrich themselves. It's a great way for them to ensure that peace is never on the table, that their industry is secure, that there's always an impetus for the American government to continue ramping up its efforts to find more and more advanced ways for us to kill each other and to kill each other viciously. Oh my God, the Gospel of Jimmy. If you don't, you know what? I don't normally ban people just for being haters, but like, I'm guessing your grandmother never taught you that time-honored old adage: if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And I don't take that to heart completely, obviously, but there are some people like you who have nothing but vitriol in your heart, and this is not the place for you. This is the place for people who want to blow off a little steam and who want to talk about shit. Like, not literal shit, but philosophy and politics and religion and the news of the day. This is a place for people who want to have serious conversations, who can take a little bit of vitriol, who can give a little bit of vitriol, but who have more to offer than just vitriol. And if that's all you have to offer, I don't need your dumb ass in here. I have enough of that to deal with. Yeah, if you don't have something of true worth to say, why say it at all? That's what I'm saying. And Jimmy, or whatever his fucking dumbass name was, coming in here with nothing but constant fucking vitriol, constant derision, constant fucking attempts to get me off track. If that's all that motherfucker is going to offer throughout the entirety of the stream, why would I continue to allow his presence here? It's self-defeating. GKY, you couldn't even spell gay right. Dude, this is why I can't take trolls in my chat seriously. Somebody was asking about that earlier. They were talking about how do you deal with bigots? Do they bother you? And how do you deal with them and all that? This is why. I keep in mind that the average bigot has an IQ somewhere around room temperature. I keep in mind that the average dumb fuck in my chat is about as dumb as a sponge, bro. And that makes it really fucking easy to keep a good heart about everything. Makes it really easy for me to not take people fucking seriously in here when they're being douchebags. So, by the way, I just opened the chat up completely to all participants because the viewership is declining a little bit. So we'll open it back up. But yeah, feel free to ask any kind of question you have or offer any kind of topic up you want. We talk about politics a lot here. We talk about religion a lot here. You know? Oh my God. Once again, another motherfucker with nothing but fucking derision. I look ridiculous. You probably look ridiculous, little bitch. You are probably fatter than I am, greased up from all the fucking junk food you've been eating, pimply faced, with badly kept hair that puts mine to shame. And you're gonna sit here and tell me what I look like? Motherfucker, get banned. Learn how to fucking be a human being and come back. Can you shout out Morgan? Sure. Arthur Morgan? Yeah, dude. Arthur Morgan. Shout out. Casey's our local Arthur Morgan. Sharpshooting motherfucker. To a Chad and Phoebe's live stream came a Casey one fine day. He came riding. I'll have to workshop this one, but I could make that into a song. You're fucking gay, as in homosexual. Probably. Been listening for a few minutes now, and I love your way of thinking. Subbed. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know I was gone for a while, but I like to think that I've got a pretty good head on my shoulders, you know? I don't consider myself all that smart a person. I don't think I'm. I think if I excel in any way when it comes to intelligence, it's like emotional intelligence and um, like speaking ability, rhetorical skill, oratory skill. That's the summation of my skill when it comes to conversation, and it serves me well. But I'm glad that other people appreciate it. Right? It's probably that appreciation that all this is built on. Right? What do you think about men playing in women's sports? Do you mean trans women playing in women's sports? I think it's a non-issue. Um, there has never been a trans athlete that has made it to the top of any sport. There's never been a trans athlete that's just swept the whole fucking game, thus proving that all the criticisms that transphobes make about trans women and women's sports are completely inaccurate. There is not some inborn advantage that comes from being born with a penis that gives you mastery over all women. And you know what? That is literally just a patriarchal idea. It is a chauvinist idea born of the patriarchy, which is a system, by the way, that exists expressly to turn the way of nature, the way of nature's way of selecting mates, basically. Um, it's just another idea looped in to that. All the reasons you're going to list, all the reasons you're going to list don't matter so much that it's made any trans athlete able to dominate every other woman in her sport, thus proving that it doesn't fucking matter that much. Thus proving that the skill of the game is ultimately what matters. And motherfuckers love stories about this, by the way. I don't get it. Motherfuckers love stories about this. If you read The Lord of the Rings, you get that a person with diminutive stature can excel against, incredible odds, even when all the data points are against them, right? But motherfuckers will read a story like that and then turn around and not fucking understand that trans women and women's sports is a non-issue, because women who are really fucking skilled in those sports are always going to beat trans women who are less skilled. Now, eventually, there probably will be a trans athlete that is able to get to the top of her sport. But you know what? She will not be allowed to stay there for long. She will have all of her accomplishments rebuked, and she will be forced to compete against men, where the differing bone density that she now has and the different muscle structure she now has, thanks to her years of HRT, make her completely ill-suited to compete against men. And so she never wins another competition, because now she's fucking, you know, like, she should be playing on the women's team by all biological metrics, but she's not, because she was too good. Sounds to me like a sore loser problem. That's retarded, dude. That is retarded. You say cap, but that is fucking retarded. Name a single trans athlete that has won first place at the top of any sport. Name one. Name a single one. I will wait and you will produce nothing, because I'm right and you are wrong. Ain't it funny how that works? Ain't it great? Ain't love grand? Make sure you guys hit that like button and consider sending a super chat if you want to make absolutely sure that I read your message. What's that trans that won volleyball? Oh, you should know her name by heart if she's such a big deal. What, you're saying trans women in sports is this massive fucking deal, but you don't know the name of the villain? You don't know the names of the villains in your story? You don't give a shit about this, bro. You don't give a shit. You're just pissed off that there's someone else like me, that there's someone out there like me and like Leah Thompson, etc., etc. You're pissed off at women like us who act how we want to act and live how we want to live in defiance of the fact that we were born with a penis or whatever. Like, we live in open defiance of the gender norms that you have been made to believe are sacred and unchangeable, and you don't like that because it makes you realize some pretty fucking damning things about the way you were raised. But I'm sorry, it's not my fault you were raised by bigots. It's not my fault you were raised in a bigoted culture. It is not my fault. That is your duty to get over, not mine to fucking walk you through the process. And the fucking fucked up thing is, I'm happy to walk you through the process. But if you're just gonna come in here with blatantly false fucking information, and you're gonna clearly display that you don't actually give a shit about the position, then I'm sorry, it makes it really hard for me to take you seriously when you don't even know the names of the people who are the bad guys in your story. Like, I can tell you who the bad guys in my story are when it comes to the things I care about. I can tell you who Jeff Bezos is, how his business started, where he is now, what he's planning on doing. I can tell you the same thing about Elon Musk. I can tell you the same thing about Bill Gates or Donald Trump or Joe Biden or any of these fucking oligarchs that I'm constantly railing against. I can tell you the names of the bad guys. I can tell you their backstories. You don't even know enough about the issue to know the fucking names of. You're so fucking morally indignant about the issue. You're not. You've hopped on a bandwagon, either because you are secretly trans yourself and are ashamed of that because you've been raised in a bigoted society. And if that's the case, I feel bad for you and I wish that it hadn't been that way, but it is not my fucking fault that it turned out that way. It just is not. I'm sorry. And you have every ability to fucking, like, the world has never been freer than it is now. If you have an internet connection, you can finagle your way out of whatever bigoted country you live in and find your way to America, bro. And we take fucking anybody. It is not hard to get a fucking immigration visa here. It just takes a while. So get thee to a place where you can be yourself and live the way you want to live for a while, and tell me if you feel the same way. I don't think someone not understanding the position of a transgender person automatically means they were raised by bigots, though. No, I wasn't trying to imply that it did, but that person was Let me explain more the reason why that person annoyed me so much, right? The reason why Jesus was annoying me is because Jesus was making this argument that trans women shouldn't be allowed in women's sports because of all these differences, and made the absurd claim that trans women have beat every woman in sports that they've competed in, which is just absurd and provably false. Trans women actually have a pretty, like, a shockingly low win rate compared to other cohorts of women's sports, but let's leave that aside. Jesus made the argument that, well, what was it they said? Oh yeah, they were talking about. I asked them for one example of a trans woman who's, like, risen to the very top of her sport. She's number one now. Give me one example. I fucking begged. I asked. I pleaded. And you know what I got instead of an answer? I got, what was that one trans that won volleyball? It's like, motherfucker. At that point, it revealed to me that they don't care that much about the issue. That's the problem. That he does not give a shit about the issue, like, on a deep emotional level. It's a bandwagon that has been hopped on for one reason or another, social cohesion or something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna have to move this inside because my battery is dying. It's at 14%, so we are gonna go into the studio trailer. Leah Thomas pooped out at like 4th fucking place, bro. It was the highest she ever rose in her sport. So Leah Thomas is actually like one of the worst examples you could give of what I'm looking for. But good job in not understanding the fucking assignment. Trans people are a Democrat made up word. Actually, when transgender people first started becoming like an object of study, the Democrats were the racist Southern white party, and the Republicans were the progressives. So actually, it's a Republican made up word, if you can believe it. But I know that your worldview doesn't allow you to think about the idea of this group that you hate having roots longer than your right wing Democrat. Why can I not talk? Hold on one second. God, my foot hurts, man. I don't think these shoes are all that good. Ow, fuck. I don't think these fucking shoes are good for my feet. I thought they were, but I really don't think they are. It is such a fucking hassle trying to find shoes that don't hurt my feet. What? What? Just, babe. There we go. God damn it. Hold on. Okay. Well, we've successfully managed to scare off every single viewer that we had, but whatever. We can, we can have a fun little chat the last 5 minutes or whatever. I just need to let the thing charge a little. My phone. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I will talk to you guys later. I will see y'all around. Thanks so much. Bye.